CBS News correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti joins us now on the phone from Manchester. Jonathan, is there any way of telling exactly why they chose to increase the threat level to to critical?
Yeah, well, Rena, the concern of accomplices or possibly a larger terror network at play seems to be really the underlying reason behind this announcement. The Prime Minister making that statement just a short while ago, where she did announce that new critical level. This is the first time this threat level has reached this status since 2007. You heard the Prime Minister there say a threat is highly likely, and it seems that all of this is coming from information assessed through this investigation unfolding here in Manchester. May said it can't be ruled out that there are other groups, other terrorist groups out there planning attack in the near future. As you mentioned, we know that Salam Abedi, the British-born citizen believed to be behind yesterday's attack, acted alone. CCTV surveillance video captured him with what appeared to be a backpack, dropping it off just outside the entrance to that arena before it detonated. There was nobody else, at least as it appeared in any of those videos. That hasn't stopped police, though, from searching a possible wider network, taking other people into custody, carrying out a series of raids. The concern at this point is really the unknown. If Abedi did have any help from other people that did not go with him to carry out this attack, if they are still lingering with larger plans still possibly at play.
And Jonathan, no doubt this scene where you're at there has a heavy police presence, but we did hear from Prime Minister May say that they were going to be sending some armed forces in to replace some of the local police officers in key areas as a way to sort of ramp up resources. Are you starting to see some of those military folks come into the area there?
Yeah, well, Erica, I haven't seen military myself, but I have seen the beefed up security presence really throughout Manchester. Of course, this is a scene that's not very much uncommon, not only here in the UK, but in Paris. If you recall, immediately after the Paris attacks, tens of thousands of soldiers were brought to the streets immediately after those attacks in an effort to stop additional attacks from happening. Here, just 2 months ago, there was that attack that took place in Parliament, an increased security presence already in place because of the wave of attacks throughout Europe. That increased police presence notably unfolding in London and now very much mimicked here in Manchester, where everywhere you go, every street you are on, you do see police patrolling on foot and in car. Of course, still very much an active investigation around the arena, where a section of that remains closed off. And a lot of police presence just around the hospitals, the 8 hospitals where the remaining victims are recovering. That police presence only continuing here, and as the Prime Minister said, and what she hoped to be a reassuring message, will increase in the coming days and weeks as this investigation continues.
Jonathan, I know you're in Manchester where the attack took place, but what's the sense? What are you hearing from people in London and other parts of England with this new increased level and the more resources, military resources being thrown to help deal with this situation?
There's a lot of concern. You speak to people here, and they are very much unsettled. It's unfortunate these attacks have become rather commonplace in Europe, although there is a sense that innocence was lost in yesterday's attack, focused on a concert with tens of thousands of young children, kids, their parents all gathered there. Very much the key target in this attack, which happened as they were streaming out in an effort to kind of maximize the carnage. There is that ongoing fear, though the people that we've spoken with, they also say it is important for life to carry on. It is kind of one of those cliches that you hear people say in an effort to kind of drum that beat, to be encouraged and to continue living on your daily life. But I mean, with that said, there still is this wave of concern. The Prime Minister saying it is important to stand defiant, to mourn the victims, but she said to stand defiant. She also gave a very strong message of praise to the police response in a way to, in an essence, not only thank them for all of their work, but remind people that there are measures in place to hopefully thwart any additional attack that may be underway. This increase in the threat level to critical certainly suggests there is good reason for concern. Of course, the exact reasons, what is unfolding in this investigation at this point, it is still unclear, but enough to warrant this increased threat level.
And Jonathan, just one more thing just about this specific incident. We know you were on the ground there in Manchester and been talking to witnesses. Are you finding that any families are still searching for loved ones at this point?
Yeah, there's the story of 15-year-old Olivia Campbell. She went to the concert with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend was injured in the attack. It took several hours for his parents to find him at one of the local hospitals here where he's recovering. But the boyfriend, his girlfriend, Olivia, still remains missing. At this point, it's still unclear exactly how many children remain missing at this hour, though initially after this attack, and we're still seeing these digital posters, these missing posters, if you will, online on Twitter of families and friends trying to reach out to get support from anybody that may have seen their missing loved ones that were inside that arena when this attack took place. So still very much an ongoing question as to how many people do remain missing. You know that the numbers just stand at 22 people killed, 59 injured. We were outside one hospital earlier today for the majority of our coverage where 12 victims were brought in. The majority of the victims brought in to the infirmary, the Royal Infirmary here in Manchester. We were told by hospital officials there all 12 of the people brought in were under 16 years old. So it just puts into scale the extent of this attack and really the victims of this attack. Most of them young children, many of them girls. We were speaking with a taxi driver who you'll hear more from on the evening news tonight, who was one of the many taxi drivers that actually drove into the chaos to help bring these kids to safety. He couldn't take them to the hospital. They didn't appear injured, but he did provide that little bit of comfort amid the chaos. He alone went back 3 different times before it got too chaotic for cars to drive. And he packed, he said, at one point, 8 people into his van. He got out over 24 people before he was cordoned off and not allowed to return in because of the police presence. So a huge outreach here. You can imagine the chaos and a lot of the confusion as this investigation continues.
All right, Jonathan Vigliotti for us on the ground in Manchester. Thank you.